We're off on an adventure today. Well, get your hat and let's go. Well, hello again. I hope you can read this sign. The sun is almost right behind it, but we're at Cragford, Alabama today. I want to show you a witch's grave, a real witch's grave. I'm showing you this sign so you kind of know where Cragford, Alabama is. It's just below the Harris Dam that's on the Tallapoosa River. And when they built this dam, it created Lake Wedowee. This is about all that's left of the town. A few old buildings. I don't know what all was in it. I'm not sure of the story on Cragford, what created the town here. But as you can see, all the businesses are shut down except one out there that's a garage where they work on vehicles and that type of stuff. A few years ago, the building on the very end down there was where the flag is, if you can see the flag, was the post office, and I believe that it's shut down now. And right over here behind us, this old house here, if I can get it to focus good, was at one time a boarding house, or so I've been told. And I believe back in the 1980s it was used as a bed and breakfast. But as you can see, there's just not much left of the town now. Okay, here we are in Cragford Cemetery today, and the sun is bearing down on these white tombstones and about to blind me. Anyway, what I want to show you today is a witch's grave. But first of all, I want to tell you a little bit about what I know about Cragford and the surrounding area. It's located in Clay County, Alabama. This is a very spooky, eerie cemetery, even in the daylight to me. Matter of fact, the whole town of Cragford always has been. I've been coming through it for a long time, ever since I've been a small boy. And it always gives me a funny, creepy, eerie feeling to come through Cragford, and especially around this cemetery. There's a couple of things I want to show you here also that are kind of odd and like uncommon. They put on these sunglasses, maybe that'll help a little bit. But I'm going to show you first the old Cragford school. The school has been closed for many years now, but I have always heard stories that inside it you can find graffiti on the walls that show devil worship, Satanism, that type of stuff. I've always heard stories as long as I have lived in Wadley about satanic rituals and rites or whatever go on in the school over there. But anyway, let's walk around the cemetery real quick, and I'll show you a couple of things that I have found. Okay, now as you can see, as I'm fanning around, a lot of the graves up here are just marked with large rocks. Right over here on this one, I want to show you, this is a little odd. As you can see, the top slab has broken or been vandalized, but it's a slab, looks like a concrete slab on the bottom, but somebody carved another slab to go on top that looks like the top of an old-time coffin. I thought that was kind of odd, but it is broken in the middle, and you can see grass growing up through it. And there's the tombstone that goes with it. A few moments ago I was telling you about the Cragford school. Well, that's it right there. It's been here for a long time. I have never actually known it being open, and I've lived in Wadley, which is about 12 miles from this school, for 58 years, and I have never known of this school to be open. Here's a view of some more tombstones, and let me get on down this way. Here's some older ones, and this one is leaning pretty bad. and looks like the top's been vandalized, or maybe it's just broken over the years. Maybe nobody's vandalized it. But as you can see, it's a very old cemetery in parts. A lot of old tombstones. But what we're looking for is the witch's grave. And I have already been out to it, and I've got my tripod set up at it. You may can see it. I'll see if I can zoom in just a little bit. Tripod's sitting pretty close to the grave, and as you can see, right behind it is an old tree with no leaves, and it's summertime. As you can see, the other trees are green. A lot of grass here is dead, but the tree pretty much next to the witch's grave is dead. This is kind of an unusual tombstone. I think it's called a table tombstone because it's up on legs and has the tombstone sitting on top of it. Okay, now here's our dead tree that we saw a moment ago, and right below it, almost right below it, is the witch's grave. Now, I want you to notice something else about the witch's grave. Look at all the other tombstones. They're all facing east-west. Whenever a body's laid to rest back in the ground, traditionally in Christian burial, they are laid east to west. But if you'll notice about this grave, it's laid north to south. Supposedly the reason being is when Jesus comes back and the dead in Christ rise, they'll rise directly up. He is supposed to come out of the eastern sky, and they're supposed to raise up to be facing him when he comes back. But if you're buried north to south and you raise out of the grave, you'll be looking the wrong direction. You won't see him. Let me get on up here and show you her name and her birthday and tell you a little story about it. The witch's name was Mary Sunday. She was born 1780 and she died 1865. And that CA behind the born and behind the died has some type of meaning. I'm not sure what it is, but I'll try to find out. But anyway, lots of people have left quarters and dimes and pennies on her grave, I guess, asking for spells or something that she might could perform. But I want to tell you a little story. Oh, something else I want you to notice before we leave is look on her grave at the vines, the weeds and the vines that grow on this grave. And on other graves, there might be grass or something like that, but it's not vines growing completely across it as it is right here. If you'll notice the grave right over here next to her, it's been broken or has broken over the years, but there's no vines growing over it. Now, her slab is what this is called in the monument business, is not the original slab that was here several years ago, and I'll tell you about that in a moment. Now, as you can see, Mary has been dead for a long time, well over 100 years, but she still has family that comes visits her and puts flowers on the grave that don't look like they've been lately, but I do know that for a fact, and that she does still have family, because about 10 years ago her family purchased this slab at a local monument company and had the old slab that was on her grave replaced. As I said before, the sun is extremely bright out here today for a cemetery. Usually it's kind of cloudy and foggy, but anyway, today it's a bright fall day. I said summer a while ago, but it's early fall. Story I wanted to tell you about this witch grave was about 10 years or so ago. There was an old rock slab that just had her name carved in a big stone that somebody found, and of course had her birthday and her death date carved in that. But over time, people broke pieces of it off, trying to break pieces off. Someone had actually broken it in two, and then they began to dig dirt out from under it, I guess to use in spells or rituals or whatever they needed it for. And some of her family came to a local monument company and purchased this new slab to be put on her grave because people were vandalizing, getting the dirt out from under the old slab. It was last time I saw it. They had got so much dirt out. The center of the slab was about 6 inches off the ground where they had dug dirt out from under it. So this is a slab that's only been on here for about 10 years. But as I said, it's kind of odd, and it does give you kind of a creepy feeling, even though on a sunny day up here. But she was supposed to have been a witch in the community. I don't know if she was a good witch or if she was a bad witch. Sometimes people who practice herbs, who work with herbs and that type of stuff, are sometimes mistakenly called witches. But you never know. But undoubtedly, most people believe she was some type of witch because of the money that's been left, I'm sure, to pay for her to help with a spell, especially the pieces of the old slab that were missing. I don't see anything chipped off of this new one. I guess people wanted the old one worse than they wanted the original one that was put on her grave whenever she died. But that's the story of the Cragford witch. While we're out here, once again, I want to show you how to use something to put on a tombstone like this. Right now, with the way the sun's shining and the angle of the shadows, you about can't read anything that's in this tomb. Now, this is not Mary Sunday's tomb. Doesn't have anything to do with her. It's just a tomb that's hard to read. And I'm going to show you what you can do that won't damage anything to get this to where you can read it. You go to the dollar store and you buy you a cheap can of shave cream. Put it in your hand just like you were going to shave your face or shave your leg. And where you think there's letters, you just rub it in, just like you were putting it on your face to shave this morning, or if you were going to go dancing tonight, you might want to shave your legs. So anyway, just the same way, you just rub this in good, getting it down into all the cracks. Get a little more on there. You want to get it on good and thick so you can read it pretty easy. And you wash the lather off of your hand the best you can. Then you take a squeegee or a putty knife, a plastic one. Don't get a metal one. Get a plastic one, because if you use metal, then you're going to mark this rock up. But you take this putty knife after you get your shave cream on there. And you just keep scraping it off until it gets to where you can read it. Now, this is a very weathered and very old tomb. It's not going to be exactly as plain as it was the day it was cut. But as you can see, that's plain enough now that you can read it and tell what's on there. Okay? When you read it and you get your information, you get you a plastic bottle, like dish detergent bottle. You take the dish detergent out. Of course, I've got shave cream all over the top of it right now. And then you just squirt it on there with a little pressure. And you wash everything off. Everything's gone. Everything is just like it was when you found it. Okay, now here's another grave I want to show you real quick. This is a grave of a Confederate soldier, and that emblem on the foot marker here is the Southern Medal of Honor, I believe is what it was called, or the Southern Cross. I've heard it called both things. Here's another grave that's a baby grave that has the lamb that signifies it is a child or a baby's grave. Let me also show you this tomb right here. This is a very old marble tomb. It's Lashley, as you can see right there. And it had the L encircled with a wreath type. And it has leaves of some type growing on either side. I just pointed out with the tripod. But at one time, right here was a picture of possibly Herman Manning Lashley, who was born in 1883. Could have been him and his wife picture in there, but it's long since gone. You can tell. Let me just lay this right here. It'll fall. If I'd have wanted it on the ground, I'd have thrown it there. But you can tell at one time there was some glue right there that was actually holding the picture in, and looked like right there something went in to pry it out or pop it out. Maybe right here is what it feels like. Somebody took something to pop the picture out. Maybe a place right there chipped long ago.
Sparks fly from her fingertips, echoed voices